I recently purchased a Tesla 2021 Model 3 long range. I honestly thought I had seen every video about the car on YouTube, but once I started driving it, there were at least 10 things that immediately stood out to me that I kinda wish I would have known before I purchased it. So let's get into those today. The first thing that I wanted to mention about my Tesla Model 3 that just completely shocked me is the fact that it auto opens and closes the garage door. No more using your garage door opener. And let me tell you, it's small, but I love this feature. Something else about this car that you definitely aren't gonna pick up on when you first get it is the weird fact that Autopilot is sort of better than full self-driving. The difference is full self-driving, I could turn it on right here and the car would start driving. I don't have it, I'm just on autopilot right now. And the reason I say autopilot is better is just because full self-driving really uses the internal camera, which I currently have covered up a lot. And as soon as you're not looking at the road or you're on your phone, it deactivates. But the problem is it just randomly deactivates a lot. So that's why I like autopilot. Right here, you put on autopilot, you can still use it on straightaways and in town, but if I look away, or even right now, having this microphone in my hand, I can almost guarantee you that full self-driving would have a major problem with it. And autopilot's pretty good. I mean, look how long it's going without me touching it. It starts to bug you, it turns blue, and then it'll eventually beep. All it takes is a little touch to keep it from doing anything. So autopilot is surprisingly my favorite. I would probably shut full self-driving off if I had it, just because it's so finicky that it's almost unusable. If you abuse it 4 or 5 times and it kicks you off, it'll eventually suspend you for a full week, which if you're abusing it, that's cool, but it's a bummer if it's just mistaken you the entire time. Literally everything about this car is hands-free. There are ways to get to a lot of things, but also you can just use voice commands. I can press this button, open the glove box. Super handy. Pretty much everything on the car is like that. You can say things like, I'm hot, I'm cold. You can say, turn the dome lights on, off, automatic. I was really surprised at the amount of things that are voice command. And honestly, besides like the buttons on the steering wheel, the only button in the car is the hazard light and these lights. Everything else you can pretty much do through the touchscreen. I think the hazard is the only thing you can't do through the touchscreen, and you just have to press it, and that's because it was a legal obligation. The next thing that really surprised me when it comes to driving the Tesla is the simple fact that it doesn't have a spare tire at all. So you need to make sure that you have a patch kit, an air pump in case you get a nail in your tire. You need to make sure that you have pucks, because there's this accessory called pucks that are little, what look like hockey pucks, and it's where you put the jacks so that you don't damage your battery. The next thing on this list that completely surprises me is actually inside the bumper right here, and it's one of Paulina's favorite things about the car.
My favorite part about the Tesla is definitely the boombox. You can do all sorts of funny honking noises, as well as a megaphone. So you can literally speak to your Tesla and it will just project whatever you want it to say to the exterior.
You're doing a really good job on this video, and everyone's gonna love Boombox. Makes it sound cool.
The next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, since we have the car out here in this beautiful light and on this gravel road, is chips. The paint is so soft. I live in a rocky place And I can't tell you how many new chips I already have. And I avoid gravel roads. If you have to go down an actual gravel road, you might really want to consider some of the mud flaps. I just don't really like how they look. My car has PPF on the front, but frankly, the rocks go right through it. It doesn't really make a big difference. There are so many new chips on here just over the last 8 months since I've owned the car. Also, that's kind of what leads to another thing, which is the fact that you pretty much have to hand wash it. It even tells you in the manual, do not put this car through automatic washes, even the touchless ones, because it's too intense for the cameras and all the stuff on the outside and the soft paint. It's just going to give you problems. So I recommend watching a video on how to waterlessly wash your car. It's not really waterless, but you don't need a hose. All right, guys, one of the final things that was pretty shocking to me, just because I've never heard of it, is that this car knows what your tire tread level is at. It knows when they don't match, and it knows when it's low. I could hardly believe this at first, but it makes sense. The car can actually count how much and how fast the tire's spinning, enough that it can actually notice the difference of when your tread's low or mismatched. I never heard anyone talk about that, and the first time I saw someone post about it, I didn't believe them. I was like, there's no way your car knows, but after looking into it, it knows. So another thing that just, once again, it's not a reason not to buy the car, but this just completely surprised me. And it's the simple fact that these back windows only go down this much. I don't ever sit in the back, so it's not a big deal, and it's plenty, but it is just kind of randomly weird. If you want to roll your back windows down all the way, that's all the way. It's kind of weird that this car has no frames on any of the doors, just meaning when you open the doors, it's just exposed glass. And so when you close it, it goes up a little bit, and when you open it, it goes down. Sometimes that leads to problems for people, but the main problem I have with it is people that accidentally close the door by the glass. It's not as strong, and I think it bends over time. And it's happened so much on my driver door that it's affected the air seal right here to the point where I can kind of hear it leaking. And I'm not really sure how to fix that, but always close the Tesla doors by the metal. Don't touch the glass. And it's so frustrating because other people will close it by the glass, and it's something weird to complain about. But, you know, at least for you, the driver, trust me, don't close the door by the glass. You'll regret it. Bonus tip, when you use the manual release for your door, which some people I've had get in the car and they just do it by default, they pull up on this instead of pushing the door open button, the glass doesn't go down. So if your window's up and someone new gets in your car and they open the door the wrong way, when they close it, your window's probably gonna shatter because it's not doing that thing where it bumps up and down. So another thing that I just didn't expect coming from a regular car. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're considering buying a Tesla, I highly recommend it. This is absolutely the best car I've ever had. It's the most fun to drive. It saves you money. You can fit people and stuff in it. The utility, I mean, it's just endless. I could brag about this car all day, but I hope that giving you some of these tips and filling you in on some of these things that surprised me will help you feel more comfortable buying the car and knowing what you're getting. So yeah, time to go have fun and drive this thing. Till next time, thank you for watching. Nick Corona out. Peace.